Good afternoon. You will discover that the greatest difficulty in understanding and in applying the principles of the infinite way come about because the great change has to be made in us instead of in others. Ordinarily, especially in religious work, the idea always is that it is the other fellow who needs correcting or saving or healing. We, of course, are already in the kingdom of heaven, but you out there, we've come to save you, or to heal you, or to reform you. But that doesn't work in the message of the infinite way. In this message, it is you who are always spiritual and perfect, and I am the one who is seeing you incorrectly, and therefore it is I who must correct my impression or concept of you. Now you just think of this, because the moment you look out into your world, into your family, into your neighbors, into your friends, into your enemies, you will have to remember that in spite of appearances, there is nothing wrong with them. They are spiritual. They are perfect. They are of the kingdom of God, of the household of God, but it is you who have been entertaining a wrong concept of them. This applies to your enemies as well as to your friends. They too are spiritual and perfect, much as you may not like to admit it. And the fact that they are enemies is due to the fact that we have not understood them, or we have not entertained the correct concept of them. Now, this entire spiritual message of the infinite way has to do with reality and correcting the false concepts of reality that we entertain. Not that you entertain, that I entertain about you, and that you entertain about your relatives and friends and enemies. In other words, in this work, the entire responsibility for harmonious living is on my shoulder. The entire responsibility for the harmony of my life and the success of my life is on my shoulder, not my father's, not my mother's, and not my employers, and not my government's. It is an individual responsibility. The reason is that in the beginning God gave me dominion. And if I am not asserting that dominion, the fault cannot be yours, nor can it be my mother's or my father's or my school teachers, nor can it be the fault of my government. nor the fault of the Russian government either. It is no one's fault but mine if I am not exercising my God-given dominion. It is no one's fault but mine if I am not knowing the truth about God and God's creation. Now, in the beginning of my life, this, of course, was not true, because having been falsely educated into a material concept of life, into a false concept of what constitutes life, naturally I had the excuse of being ignorant of truth. Once, however, enlightenment comes and it is pointed out to me the path that I must take, from then on I cannot properly hold anyone else responsible. Now, when we are enlightened in spiritual truth, this is the light that we receive. That God has expressed himself as individual being, as individual you and me. That God constitutes your life, your mind, your soul, your body. Even your body is the temple of God. That God has incarnated in you his Son, the spiritual presence and power. That this spiritual presence in you is endowed to heal the sick, raise the dead, feed the hungry, forgive the sinners, multiply loaves and fishes. This divine presence of God in you, that which the Hebrews call Emmanuel, that which Christians call the Christ, that which India calls Buddha. All of this is within you. And the function of this, Emmanuel, God with us, Christ, the indwelling Spirit of God, or Son of God, the function of this is to see that the harmony of your being and body is maintained, to see that you are forgiven your sins and kept from further temptation, that the loaves and fishes be multiplied for you in every department of your experience. Now, our ignorance of this prevents our demonstration of it. And therefore, in the old days, when we were taught that God is up in the sky and only available after we obey the 10 Commandments, and even then probably not while we're on earth, we can be excused for our ignorance in not living through Christ. When, however, God has been revealed to you as your very life, your very mind, your very soul, the substance of your body, when it has been revealed to you that God has planted in the midst of you his Son, Emmanuel, the presence of God, with this wonderful function of resurrecting you out of the tomb of flesh, lifting you out of the beliefs of materiality, multiplying all your loaves and fishes. Once you have been enlightened as to this, you can no longer excuse yourself on the ground of ignorance. Now you can only say, I am too lazy. Again, since God is no respecter of persons, once you have been enlightened as to this, you must acknowledge that this is the universal truth about everyone on earth, everyone who has ever been on earth, and all those still unborn. Because only when you make this universal acknowledgement are you entertaining the truth about reality. Without this, you are entertaining false concepts, that is, false ideas or opinions in your own thought, and then suffering from them. The best illustration of this is that there is still a sect in the United States who cannot accept that the world is round. And they insist that the world is square and that it has four corners, and therefore that you cannot go out on a ship because you would fall over the horizon. Now you see, those people are not limiting you or me, but by entertaining a false concept of this universe, they are limiting themselves and they never leave shore. In fact, they go never very far from their own little city. It's quite safe there in this square universe. They are well boxed in. But as you can see, they are not boxed in physically, it is mentally. And it is not that anyone or any condition is boxing them in, they are boxing themselves in. And so do we if we believe that man is mortal, any man. So do we if we believe that life is limited, your life or mine or anyone else's. If we believe our life is limited to a period between the cradle and the grave, we build a box around ourselves every time we entertain a false concept of God or man or the universe. When we go far enough on the spiritual path, we even come to see that this is an incorporeal universe. A universe that is not material, is not physical, in spite of all appearances to the contrary. Now, you know what a shock it was to the world to be told 90 years ago that all is infinite mind and its infinite manifestation. In other words, that everything that is mind manifested. But less than a year ago, Dr. Van Braun, the man who now heads the nuclear fission work for the United States, published in a paper in the United States, in a newspaper, that they have now proven that mind is the substance of matter. Well, Mrs. Eddy beat them to it by 90 years. Mind is the substance of matter. And it is for this reason that what you entertain in mind becomes manifest as body. This is what gives you your dominion over your life, over your body, over your world. When you know that what you take into your mind is going to appear as your world. In other words, if you can be made to accept a flat or square world, you are limiting yourself to the earth. And it is what you have taken in mind that is circumscribing the action of your body. Again, if you believe that your mind or your body can be sick or well, it is you who build that wall or that box for yourself, that limitation. Because neither your mind nor your body can be sick or well. It is what you take into your mind that will appear as a condition of body. It isn't the mind that is sick. The mind is merely a substance of which the body is formed. But there is somebody called you. You, whatever your name may be, you. Now, just look at your body for a moment and see if you can agree that this body is not you, that this body is yours. And then remember how you use your mind, and you will agree that this mind is not you, that this mind is yours. Now, you can determine what you are going to put into your mind. Since it was you, it wasn't your mind or body that decided to come here today. It was you who decided to come here today, and your mind and body had to come along with you. Probably, if they had a will of their own, they would have stayed home on Sunday and been comfortable. But no, you wouldn't allow it. You were determined to come here and to receive truth into your mind, that it may manifest as your body. Well, you could go on the rest of the day and the rest of the evening and all the rest of the days to come and determine also how much of your time and attention you will give to putting truth into your mind and body, or how much of your time you will permit the outside factors of life to pump its theories and beliefs into your mind and body. Because whatever you put into your mind will appear as your body or business or home. This you of whom I'm talking has two different, shall we call them aspects, natures. There is the you who is the natural man, who is not under the law of God. Or you might say the you who is a little further along and is half under the law of God and still half under the laws of the world. That's one you. Since you have come to a spiritual truth, you are really living partly under the law and partly under grace. There are times when you come a great deal more under the law than you have any right to do. There are some times when you rise high enough to be under grace. But now there is another you. There is another you that lives completely without taking thought, without having to know truth. There is a you which, when you attain it, is your Christ self. At the present time, this you is a human self with some degree of awareness of the indwelling Christ. Later, as you progress, that you begins to become less and less. And the Christ you becomes more and more, and then eventually you have every right to expect that you can be living 80 or 90% of your Christ self and only 10 or 20% of your personal self. There is no record of anyone ever having achieved 100% of their Christ self while on earth, not even the Master. Now, if we do attain that 80 or 90%, be assured it is a fine demonstration for just one lifetime and offers a great deal of hope for our future experiences. How do we make this transition from our human self to our divine self? How do we put off mortality and put on immortality? How do we put off the human self and put on the Christ self? And it is in this wise: by the giving up of false concepts or false views or false ideas of God, man, and the universe. Let me illustrate that. Humanly, it is the most natural thing to look out and see a group of people, some young, some middle-aged, some aged, some sick, some well, some rich, some poor, some high, some low. That's the most natural thing in the world for the human mind to do. But you must remember, there isn't one word of truth in that. If I were to look out and see that, I would be entertaining concepts or views or opinions of you. Now, to the degree that I do that, I am still in my humanhood. In the degree, however, that I can look out through eyes of spiritual discernment and see the you that is looking through your eyes, the incorporeal, spiritual you. The divine you that was made in the image and likeness of God. In proportion as I can do that, I am living my Christ self and not my human self. In the degree that I would sympathize or pity you, your illnesses, infirmities, or sins, in that degree I would be living my human self, my mortal self. In the degree that I refuse to accept the pictures that present themselves to my human eyes, in the degree that I refuse to accept them or fasten them onto you or believe that they are a part of you, and can spiritually say, I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of Israel, the spiritual offspring of God. In that degree, then, I am living my Christ self. Now, the more human opinions I have about God, man, and the universe, the more I am living in my mortal selfhood. The more that I look out through spiritual discernment and realize that God never had an illegitimate offspring. Everyone is the divine offspring of God. And in proportion as I can disregard appearances, because you must remember, with my human eyes, I can see appearances too. Jesus could too. He saw the man who was blind. He saw the cripples by the side of the road. He saw the woman taken in adultery. With his human eyes, he saw the human picture. But with his inner spiritual discernment, he saw that all of these pictures were the products of ignorance. And therefore he could say, neither do I condemn thee. Thy sins be forgiven thee. Certainly they're all based on ignorance. How can you blame anyone for the ignorance into which they were born? Now, through spiritual discernment, through the light which has been given to me, I know that God constitutes individual being. I know this. And even while my eyes testify to something else, inwardly I know God constitutes individual being. And as long as I can disregard the appearance and hold to what I know, I am living my Christ life. Now the strange part of that is that as long as I hold to spiritual truth, in spite of all appearances, my own life improves. My health gets better. My supply gets greater. My sins or sinful desires grow less. And just by looking out here and knowing the truth about you, I am bringing harmony into me. It is in this way, then, that each one of us is responsible for our demonstration of life, whether harmonious or not. And the way is not knowing the truth about ourselves, but knowing the truth about our friends and enemies and relatives, so that we can say God is no respecter of persons. All constitute God's universe, God's kingdom, God's creation. Oh, the fact that there are so many people in the world who do not know their identity or your identity or mine has nothing to do with you or me. We understand Scripture when it says, 1,000 may fall at my left and 10,000 at my right. Certainly, if the world doesn't open its eyes to truth, it must pay the penalty of its ignorance. But it will not come nigh my dwelling place. As long as I can look out and behold God as constituting all creation, my universe will be intact. The Master confirms this. If I abide in the truth, and let the truth abide in me, I will bear fruit richly. But he also says, like the 91st Psalm, that those who do not abide in the truth, and those who do not let the truth abide in them, they will be as a branch of a tree that is cut off and withers and dies. Therefore, in the beginning of our experience, we are responsible only for our own demonstration, not for that of anyone else. We have all we can do for a long, long time to make certain that we make our own demonstration of being able to look out at this world and forgive 70 times 7, do unto others as we would have others do unto us, not live by an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but by forgiving 70 times 7, by resisting not evil. For a long, long time, all we can do is give our attention to our own demonstration. Now, as we come into enough spiritual light so that this actually takes hold of us, and automatically we are able to look out and disregard the appearances, we then draw to us those who are in darkness. They may not know why, but they feel drawn to come to us for comfort or for healing or for enlightenment. And it is then that they become a part of our responsibility. Because now, as we have freely received, now we must freely give to them. Only remember that at this stage of our unfoldment, we are not to concern ourselves with the world or its demonstration or lack of it, but only to those of our own household, that is, those who are led to us for enlightenment. The Master went through this stage when he met the woman who wanted healing for her daughter, and he refused. No, I will not heal your daughter. I am come only to those of my own household. When, through a great deal of pleading, she convinced the Master that she evidently was on the spiritual path, even if she didn't belong to his religion, then he healed her daughter. With us too, in this second stage of our spiritual unfoldment, we are not concerned with those of the world who are still living their material lives in their own material way. We are concerned only with helping those who are drawn to us. You will notice how we practice that in the infinite way. We do not go out into the world to save it. We go only where we are invited, and we address those who in one way or another have been led here to listen. We don't go out and advertise for anyone to come in. We don't go out and proselyte. We do not go out and say, oh, look what wonderful truth we have found, if only you'll accept it. No, we seek no one, but we sit here willing to accept all who are led to us, and we are willing to share with them every ounce of truth that we have. Therefore, you will notice in this room, no one has been sent for. Each one who has come because in one way or another they were drawn and came of their own volition. And so it is in every city and in every country. Only those come who in one way or another are drawn, and then we share whatever it is we have, and all. We withhold nothing. All that has been given to us is yours. But you who have come for it. You might wonder, is that fair to the rest of the city, that we are not giving it to them? How could we give it to them? Would they listen to us? Aren't they too busy this afternoon with some other thing that keeps them busy? Of course, you know the answer to that. There are those who hear my voice, and they are led. There are those who are not yet ready to put up the sword or to stop living by bread alone. And even if we gave this message to them, it would solve nothing. Now, there is a third stage at which those who have received so much light that they no longer have personal or family problems, do not have to concern themselves with others, they then may undertake to do a world work from behind the scenes, which eventually will bring enlightenment to the world without the necessity of proselyting or preaching or being crucified. As far as we are concerned, we have two steps. And the first one is to work with myself and concern myself only with myself until such time as I am not entertaining false concepts about God or man or the universe, until I within myself am absolutely strong in the conviction that God constitutes this universe, and that I can disregard all of the appearances that present themselves. And then the second step, when that first step has grown upon me strongly, so strongly that others feel it and are led to me and ask for comfort or healing or instruction, that I share with them as freely as I have been shared with. Those are our two immediate steps. The third step is reserved for those who have gone beyond these two steps. Now, I started by saying that the difficult part of this is that we are really not limited in our demonstration by anyone else, even though we often believe that we are. We are actually limited by the concepts that we entertain. And therefore, if our lives are not testifying to a great measure of God's grace, it is actually because we are still entertaining worldly concepts. We are still blaming you for being material, or blaming you for not being loving, or blaming you for not being grateful, or blaming you for not being spiritual. And you see, all of the time you are pure spirit. So you can see that entertaining this false concept about you must limit me. Therefore, I am the only person who ever has to be healed, and what I have to be healed of is the erroneous or mortal or material concepts that I may be entertaining about you. In the same way then, and this becomes your difficulty, no matter how spiritual anyone else becomes, it won't help you. It is only in the degree that you can surrender the false concepts, only in the degree that you can give up this belief in the reality of a mortal material universe, only in that degree can you live by grace. Now, we are fortunate in this message that we have been given a way that will help us to change these concepts. And even though at first it is likewise a difficult way, nevertheless it does lead us to our goal. And this is the revelation that will simplify this changing of concepts for you. There is nothing good or evil. Now this is it. There is nothing good or evil. I know what the appearances testify to. But just remember that some of the very things that you are calling good, others are calling evil. Remember, some of the very things you are calling evil, others are calling good. Therefore, there is no thing under this sky that has in it a quality of its own of good or of evil. Just remember that soothing tranquilizer that puts you to sleep can also kill. Just remember that delicious cocktail can also make alcoholics. just remember that this glorious sunshine can burn you to pieces. There is nothing good or evil in and of itself. Now, when you can adopt that as a way of life, you automatically change the effect on you of the things of this world. Let us put it this way: a bowl of beautiful flowers, and to some people they give hay fever and asthma. Now, are these both good and evil? Or are they just good to some people and evil to other people? Or no, they are whatever our concept makes of them. Therefore, to be able to enjoy this bowl of flowers and yet give them neither qualities of good nor of evil would put this bowl of flowers in rightful relationship to you. And they would be neither good nor evil, they'd just be beautiful. Now, in the same way, we often are called upon to give help to people who have some forms of poisoning. Sometimes they have purposely or accidentally swallowed a poison, or sometimes they've come in contact with a poisonous plant or insect. And yet, if they are on the metaphysical or spiritual path, they do not look for material remedies to help them. They turn to us for spiritual remedies. And I will tell you what the remedy is. Our practitioners must know that there is nothing good or evil, that nothing contains good or evil, and then the poison loses its power. It is only a universal belief that makes it poisonous. Of itself, it would not be poisonous. There is a universal belief. If you remember, Adam gave everything its name and called it good or evil. Adam, which means, of course, this universal belief in two powers. Now, the moment that you withdraw from your mind a belief in two powers, you do not experience two powers. In proportion as you withdraw from your mind the belief in two powers, you withdraw the experience of two powers. In other words, if I can look out at this world and see that none of its forms has good or evil, then none of those forms can act for good or evil upon me. You might say, aren't you sacrificing something? Yes, I am. But I'm willing to. I am willing to receive my good from the invisible that is within me, rather than concern myself with any belief in good that is external to me. This is a point you will have to read more about in the writings, because it is presented in 100 different ways, but it is the basis of our healing practice. Supposing we are presented with a case of fever. Now, in any kind of teaching in the world, you would try to get the good to overcome the evil. In the material world, you'd use a good remedy to overcome the evil fever. And in the metaphysical realm, you'd use a good thought to overcome the evil fever, or the evil belief of fever. In the infinite way, you do none of these things. You relax in the assurance that there is neither good nor evil in any form or effect, that all quality emanates from God. Therefore, all quality is spiritual. It isn't good, it isn't bad, it's spiritual. Now, once you begin with this principle of neither good nor evil, you are on your way back to the Garden of Eden before the fall, because it was only this belief in good and evil that constitutes what is called the fall. And when you have no longer a belief in externalized good or evil, you are back in the Garden of Eden in divine harmony in the incorporeal spiritual universe. It is at first a matter of training. It is necessary that when we are presented with pictures that testify to good or evil, that we are able to look through them and realize, no, there is neither good nor evil, there is only the spiritual. Now, this is not difficult when somebody presents an appearance of discord. It's very nice and soothing to be able to say, oh, there is neither good nor evil, there is only the spiritual. The difficulty comes when we see a healthy person and have to say there is neither good nor evil. Because now it seems that we are denying the good appearance, and we are. Because a good appearance can turn to a bad one. Good health can become bad health. Young life can become old life. Life can become death. So as long as you just want to hug to yourself the good side of human life, you're only postponing the evil until the day when automatically it becomes evil. But if you can look at a beautiful bowl of flowers and say, you are neither good nor evil, you are spiritual. When you can look at your pet dog, cat, or bird and say, this is going to be awfully hard, but I know you are not good. And when you're bad, I know you are not bad. No matter what the appearance is, you are neither good nor bad, you are spiritual. Well, of course, by that time you're ready for the toughest experience of all. You've got to be able to look at children. And that's the hardest experience of all, and find them neither good nor bad, because how we love to look at them and find them good, and how often we look at them and really find them bad. And then to have to look through that appearance and say, no, you are neither good nor bad, you are of your Father in heaven. You have no human heritage. No man on earth is your father. You are of the divine, the spiritual. Therefore, you're neither good nor bad, you're godly. Nobody knows any better than I do how tough that is. But that's the price. That is the price of spiritual harmony. When you can go back to the Garden of Eve and put Adam and Eve right back into the garden by taking away from them their belief in good and evil. When you can deprive yourself of the pleasure that comes in calling some things good and some bad, and some people good and some bad. When you can deprive yourself of that and really hold, I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of Israel, the Son of God, the spiritual image and likeness. There is neither good nor evil in you, there is only God in you. Spirit, reality. Do you see that this changes our concept of the entire world? Do you see how bit by bit we lose all of those concepts that we've been building up for thousands of years, which pins labels of good and evil? In my prison work, I have seen really bad men turned into good ones. And the only way it was done was by the realization that they were neither good nor evil, but that they were of the household of God, and holding steadfastly to that until the demonstration was complete. How many times we have worked with sick people, not trying to make them well, because that would be in the realm of the doctors, not the realm of the spiritual minister, but to be able to sit with them and work with them in the realization this is neither good nor evil. There is no good or evil. God constitutes all being. And hold fast to that in spite of appearances until the appearances change. Whether we are dealing with sinners or with the sick, we are dealing only with the ignorance that says there is good and evil. That's all. It's a matter of ignorance, a universal ignorance that says there is good or evil, and one with God is a majority, one with truth. The one who can hold as the Master did and say, what did hinder you? Open thine eyes, pick up thy bed and walk. Never once called on God to heal anyone. Not a record in the whole New Testament of calling on God to heal anyone. All was the ability to look at them and say, rise, pick up thy bed and walk, open thine eyes. What did hinder you? Acknowledging that the appearances were not true. Judge not after appearances, he says. Judge righteous judgment. And aren't we told that there is neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so? And oh, if we're just big enough and broad enough to look out at this world and think of the things that we have called good that turned out to be bad, and the things that we've called bad that turned out to be good, we'd know how mistaken we are in our judgments. remember when we were too young to be given this job because we were too young? And now we're just a few years older and we're too old because it doesn't satisfy the Social Security law. By the time you get to be old enough for a job, you've outgrown any job. All this is nonsense. There's no such thing as too young. There's no such thing as too old. There is only what we have the capacity to bring through. Now, you change your concepts of everything the moment you begin to apply this principle that there is neither good nor evil in anything or anybody, that there is only God. To begin with, it changes your life. Regardless of what it does to anyone else's, it changes yours for the better. But so powerful is your consciousness that your knowing this very often sets others free of that very belief in good and evil. Well, now, I'm sure you recognize that this is not going to be an easy lesson to assimilate. And therefore, I do hope you will take advantage of the tape when you have it and hear it again and again until it is established in you that you can look out at this world and say there is neither good and evil in anything or anyone, because God constitutes all that is. Thank you.